When we talk about variation, almost always we're talking about direct variation, but there is inverse variation. And we're going to spend a little bit of time today talking about inverse variation. Notice it says if y varies inversely with x, then as the value of x increases, the value of y decreases. Well, it doesn't really explain it very well. Let's look at our equation. Here we have y equals k over x. Y equals k over x. And let me explain to you how we get this. If I have x, and I ask you what is the inverse of x, the answer is this, 1 over x. Okay? So with normal variation, we have y equals kx. We have this, y equals k times the inverse of x. Oh, I need to make that an x. Let me make that a little clearer for you. Okay, so it would be k times 1 over, there we go again, x. 1 over x. Well, if we simplify that, it just becomes y equals k divided by x. K is usually a total amount, and the x and the y are actually multiplied times each other to find k, and that's where we see here k can be found by this equation, k equals y times x. So if I wanted to get k by itself, what I would have to do is multiply both sides by x, like this. These would cancel out. This would be xy equals k, or k equals xy, or yx, doesn't matter. Alright, let's put it to practice. Example 1. The length of a violin string varies inversely. So we need to hone in on these keywords. So we know we're going to have a fraction or something going on here, and let's look what it looks like. So it says a violin string 10 inches long vibrates at a frequency of 512 cycles per second. So find the frequency of an 8-inch string. Let x equal the length in inches and y equal the frequency per second. So if k equals y times x, then we're going to plug these in. K equals, well, my y is 512 and my x is 10, so k is 5,120. So find the frequency in cycles per second of the 8-inch string. So what we have here, the y is our frequency, equals, and remember, our inverse equation is k divided by x. So I have 5,120 divided by 8. So if you put that into your calculator, you don't need a graphing calculator for this. So if we do that, we come up with 640. 640. All right. Now, this is on your sheet. It says sometimes it's easier to solve a variation by using a proportion and cross multiplying. I'm going to teach you something a little bit different. You can do it that way, but let me show you something easier. So what I want to show you, it says if y varies inversely with x, y equals 5 when, okay, so this would be our pair, our ordered pair, and if you wanted, you could write it as 15, 5, like that, okay, and then we're going to find x, what is this value when y is 3. So if you do this, let me show you what you can do. You can multiply 15 times 5 and then divide by the number that you know. So if I do 15 times 5 in my calculator, divide by what I know, which is 3, I come up with 25. Okay, so make two coordinates like this, multiply the 2 in the first coordinate, divide by the number in the other coordinate. Okay, so here I end up with 25. And the reason is 15 times 5 is 75. So I need to know what number times 3 would equal 75. All right. The width of a rectangle varies inversely with the length. All right. Complete the table below that shows that the length y is a function of the width x. Let the area equal 1,500 centimeters square. All right. So we're going to say x is for the width. Our y is for the length. So to find y, I would take my total, 1,500, and divide it by x. Okay? So that is our, well, I should have written it right here. Y equals 1,500 divided by x, which is the width. So to find the length, I need to divide by the width. So if I fill this in, I would do 1,500 divided by 10. That would be 150. 1,500 divided by 15 would be 100. Let me get my calculator out of here. 1,500 divided by 25, and that would be 60. 1,500 divided by 30, and that's 50. And that's going to be 30. And 1,500 divided by 60 is 25. And what I want you to do with your calculator at home, I want you to go back and fill in these two. I've just showed you how to do it. If the length is 6, what is the width? So remember, length is the y. So I would put 6. Well, let me work this out for you on the side, and then we'll put our answer in there. So I would say 6 equals 1,500 divided by x. All right. So let's think about this. How would you solve this? Well, if I want to get x by itself, and I certainly don't want it under a fraction bar, what could I do? Well, maybe if I multiply both sides by x, and there are some quicker ways, but I think I want to show you a way that you'll understand. These would cancel out, and so I have 6x equals 1,500, and then I would divide by 6, okay? Divide by 6, and I would just say, what is 1,500 divided by 6? And that gives me 250. Now make sure that if this says if the length is 6, here we have length y, make sure that you put it in the right spot. If they said the width is 6, what is the length? We would have 1,500 divided by 6 and just found y. Would have been a lot easier. All right. For the following problems, write an equation and answer each question. So the amount of candy shared by the class varies inversely. All right, we need to start finding these varies inversely with the number of students in a class. If there are 120 pieces of candy, how much would each student receive in a class of 30? So my K is going to be my total amount of candy. That's constant. It will never change. There's 120 pieces. All right. So here I have my Y equals 120, and then it's divided by the number of students, and we figure out that 120 divided by 30, each student would net 4 pieces of candy. All right. Not too difficult, but let's move on. The life of a battery varies inversely. Again, varies inversely. We need to catch this. It says if a battery has 1,250 volts stored, how long will it take to burn out at a rate of 50 volts per hour? All right. So our K, the constant, is it's got 1,250 volts. That's what we start with. So our equation is Y equals 1,250 divided by our rate per hour, and 1,250 divided by 50. Well, you can do that in your calculator. Gives you 25. All right, let's move on. The number of songs a DJ can play in a 3-hour session varies inversely. Again, I'm not going to highlight it this time. Varies inversely with the length of each song. How many songs, oh look at this, can a DJ play if each, I'm not going to fix it, if each song lasts an average of 4.5 minutes. Alright, so the one thing is the 3-hour session. That's all the time there is. Well, since this over here is in minutes, I'm going to go ahead and convert my hours, 3 hours, into minutes. So my constant is 180 because that's how many minutes are in 3 hours. So here I'm going to put my y equals 180 over 4.5. So what is 180 divided by 4.5? Go ahead, plug it into your calculator. I'm doing it. And I come up with 40. I come up with 40. All right. Traveling time from San Antonio to Dallas varies inversely with speed. If there are 273 miles between San Antonio and Dallas, how fast would you have to travel to make the trip in 3.5 hours? All right. So here our constant is going to be 273 because it's 273. The mileage doesn't increase or decrease. You go from one point to the next point, and if you measure that out and you go the same route every time, it's going to be the same distance. So it's constant. All right, our equation then becomes y equals 273 divided by 3.5. So put this in your calculator. 273 divided by 3.5. And I come up with 78. Now, what I want you to do is I want you to go ahead, write in 78 right here. Write in 78 right there. In that little circle, write it in. All right. So solve using proportions. We're not going to do that. We're going to do the little trick that I showed you. So here I'm going to make 8, 9. Those are the two that I know. And then I have 6, and I don't know what y is. So I'm going to do that. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to multiply 8 times 9, 8 times 9, and then I'm going to divide by 6. And what'd you come up with? I came up with 12. 12. All right, let's try it with this one. Here I have my first coordinate, 12, 27. And then I need to find x. It says find x when y is negative 12. So let's try this out. So 12 times 27 divide by negative 12. And that's negative 27. Negative 27. Again, number 8. Y is 40, x is 16. So I can write my coordinates 16, 40. And they give me x. And they give me x is 10. Excuse me. I need to go back here. And I'm going to put that in 10, and we're going to find y. So it's 16 times 40 divided by 10. You know, this is actually pretty easy stuff if you get to looking at it. That gives me 64. 64. All right. So again, this is what we're going to do. We're going to negative 8 and 24. And we're going to find y. We know that x is 4. X is 4. And we need to find y. So we're going to do negative 8 times 24 divided by 4. And that gives me negative 48. Negative 48. Again, we have 80, 60. Find x when y is negative 20. So I have 80 times 60 divided by negative 20, and on my calculator that gave me negative 240. Alright, so I know it said to use proportions. There is a way to do that, but I like this method better because it's practically foolproof, meaning that it should be fairly easy for you. Let me know, and if you want me to show you how to do it the other way, I'll explain that to you too.